How do you assess early trajectory of this Biden administration on the Middle East?
So I think they do want to reduce the importance of Middle East in terms of foreign policy priorities somewhere down below, to number 5, number 6, but definitely not number 1. So the recalibration of policy with Saudi Arabia is a very powerful signal to the kingdom that you need to play ball with your adversaries in the region. Because we're not necessarily going to be bailing out every policy you want. So we're going to treat you like every other country, no more special access to the Oval Office, and you need to finish the war in Yemen, and we're not going to keep funding or supporting the continuation of that war. So that's also almost like telling the Arabs that, you need to get along with your adversaries. It's almost a repetition of what President Obama told Jeffrey Goldberg of The Atlantic. You got to find a way to coexist with Iran in your own region. With Turkey, the administration actually has not revealed its hand. It hasn't come up with the way in which it's going to deal with Turkey. Now, Iran has become much more complicated.
Let me go back to what you were saying about the Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, for example. Now, the U.S. policy towards Saudi Arabia, the orientation in the early days of this Biden administration has been overwhelmingly on the human rights side. How do you feel about the prioritization of human rights and that lens for U.S. foreign policy in this administration?
Well, I think it's important because if you're going to go after Iran, you're going to go after Russia, you're going to go after China with Uyghurs, etc., you have to at least have a modicum of credibility. And this had become a credibility issue for the United States internationally. It wasn't just about the Middle East. So the U.S. had to write that. I mean, these are parts of the convoluted foreign policy of the Trump era, that they were really hard on Hong Kong with the Chinese, but then would give a pass to an ally on a very egregious thing. So I think it's about putting American foreign policy on an even keel. It is also essentially a deterrence measure. In other words, you're sending a signal not to do anything like this again. That if you want to be an ally of the United States, you have to act in ways that are not exactly similar to those countries that we're viewing as adversaries. And thirdly, I think it is to downgrade the relationship, not in a negative way, but I think because the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States had become abnormal for our foreign policy, that they could simply bypass the entire State Department, Pentagon, the institutions that they dealt with, and just go to the president's son-in-law. So I think the United States is basically pushing that down. In other words, you're not special, right? You're a leader of a country. We'll treat you as leader of a country, and we're not going to treat you as above and beyond anybody else. So that I think they're putting Saudi Arabia back in a box where it was.